Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, lots of little stories, not many big stories, so we'll just jump right in. What things are we going to read about today? We're going to read about the Hatch Act, Housing Urban Development Secretary, and another agency have banners on their official sites blaming the Democrats and the radical left for the government shutdown. Because, that's reasonable. Jasmine Crockett points out correctly that this is a violation of the Hatch Act. And specifically a watchdog group filed a Hatch Act complaint against Kelly Loeffler. You might remember her. I believe she was the former senator in Georgia when Trump won the first time around. She's the administrator for the Small Business Administration, and HUD Secretary Scott Turner are being accused of, violating the Hatch Act by having political banners on their websites. What else do we have? Trump has officially declared war on drug cartels, and he's using that as justification for sinking boats with Venezuelans and other foreigners in the Caribbean. Congress says you can't do that without going through the War Times Act through Congress, but when does Donald Trump ever follow the rules? Lastly, we also have news that a top Air Force General, Thomas Bussiere, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, announcing his retirement. Interesting the timing when Pete Hegseth says, if you don't like the words I'm saying, you can just leave. Retire if you don't like it. So he's retiring. What does that say about this man's character? Or is that the reason why he's retiring? So let's all jump in with these things first. And let's just let's start with the Air Force General. So I'll read the story here. These are all from The Hill. Top Air Force Commander General Thomas Bussiere announced his retirement on Tuesday for personal and family reasons. After much reflection and with a full heart, Barb and I have made the difficult decision to request retirement for the United States Air Force for personal and family reasons. This was posted on Facebook. He has served as the Air Force Global Strike Commander since December of 2022. Earlier, he was nominated by the administration to be the next Air Force Vice Chief of Staff in July, but September his nomination was withdrawn. His retirement comes hours after Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth held an extraordinary gathering of top military officials at Quantico, Virginia, where he announced that he was raising fitness standards and such. And quote, "If the words I'm speaking today make your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign." Why did this Air Force General resign? Let's look at the energy around his resignation, okay? Entertainment purposes only. Foundation of the reading is the Magician. To me, what this says is the administration has revealed who they are. And it's now time for him to show his character. By the administration revealing who they are, this allows him to announce his next step as to what he's going to do. He had a choice. He could stick around and support this administration or announce that he was leaving. We see what he did. In the past, the Six of Coins, I think, it's about his values, but I believe what you're seeing here is the diminishing values of his service, or his, the diminishment of the appreciation for what he's done by this current administration. Current situation is the Strength card. He's going to walk out on his own terms. Overarching energy, Ace of Pentacles. A man of value. Oops, we got the two cards there. His strength and his values basically are forcing him to leave. I think he would have liked to have stayed longer, but he can't. He can't, good and conscious, support this administration. Out comes the High Priestess. And the U.S. loses all his knowledge and wisdom. Now, it's going to open up for somebody else to replace him, and I'm going to hope and assume that the most likely person to replace him will be somebody of character. You know, not some Trump flunky. But yeah, it looks like Hegseth was... he took Hegseth's advice to heart. If my heart sinks, then I should do the honorable thing and retire. Okay. I know where I stand. So, he did. Now, the Hatch Act. Let's take a look at the Hatch Act. A watchdog group has filed a lawsuit against the Small Business Administration and Kelly Loeffler, as well as the Housing and Urban Development Department and their leader. Come on, where's his name here? Oh, Turner. Mr. Turner. It's great. Turner said he's heard all of the cries and outcry of people saying the banner is propaganda and it violates the Hatch Act, which limits certain political activities of federal employees, as well as some state, D.C., and local federal government employees who work in connection with federally funded programs. Quote, to me, the Democrats on the far left are using this as a distraction to deflect from what's really important and how its irresponsible actions on the Hill and American people are being impacted by this government shutdown. That's what we need to be talking about. Then why do you throw up an inflammatory banner? Oh, that's right, because you guys are a bunch of children. The Hatch Act. Will these folks, will the lawsuit against them go forward and be successful? Ace of Pentacles, there's going to be some fines for this. And there are going to be some big fines for this. Yeah, this is going to go forward. They're not going to do well on this one. Jasmine Crockett's even asking, you know, how is this not a violation of the Hatch Act? It's just one of those things that it's so obvious and so ham-fisted, there's no denying it. Maybe I think what the problem here is I don't suspect that the leaders of these departments actually have to pay their own fines. You know, it probably comes out of the budget or something like that. In the past, you got the Three of Cups. This is the celebrating of partisan politics. Because I asked how this lawsuit's going to come out. This is what did it. You wanted to raise your cup to Donald Trump and support MAGA? That's what you did. Then you go to court. And you're told, they may get an injunction telling them to take it down, but the courts are involved and you're in the wrong and you're going to be sent packing. These guys will probably lose their jobs over this, assuming they're in their jobs when this goes to court. And their trouble will be just beginning. There may be bigger fallout for this than just complying with Trump's thing. Remember, Trump can't be held legally liable for his actions in office, but they can. There's going to be some punishments for this. I really don't think it's prison time, although Lord knows that would be amazing. Imagine spending 90 days or a year in federal prison for doing this. That would be amazing, you know. Maybe it might actually work as a deterrent. I don't think we'll ever be as lucky as that, mind you. But we could always hope, right? Yeah, and with that hope, I'd also like to have a pony, too. But I'm not going to get that either, am I? Okay. Sorry, I had to pause and talk with Michelle for a second. She's out to get her COVID booster. Okay, will there be any political... I mean, I didn't know how to follow up on this one. Who cares? All right, we'll move on. Trump is declaring war on drug cartels, because of course he is. I guess that's where Hegseth's Department of War, we're going to break things and kill people. Rawr! Knuckle dragging fun for everyone. New York Times was first to report that Trump has directed the Department of War to conduct operations against drug cartels, although he doesn't specifically name the cartels. Trump has conducted 3 military strikes on boats that he claimed were carrying drugs bound for the United States. It killed all 17 people aboard the vessels, at least 2 of which originated from Venezuela. And the administration insists that these killings were lawful despite no public proof that the boats contained drugs. And Democrats are insisting Trump must seek war powers authority from Congress. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Trump's authorization to kill people on boats and military strikes. Are these... What's going on with that? You got the King of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Orders are coming, unlawful orders coming through, and people following them because they feel like they've got no choice. This is going to go right back to that whole Pete Hegseth meeting that's going on here. This is about military commanders need to make their decisions. They can't be victims on this one because they will face judgment on this. Trump will not be king forever in this country, and then you're going to face consequences if you followed illegal orders and basically murdered people on the high seas. In the past, Queen of Wands, expecting these orders to come through, the High Priestess, your best defense is going to be that you were given intelligence on this one and then you find out the intelligence was faulty, so you can blame somebody else for your clandestine actions. Because notice we haven't seen the evidence of what these boats were carrying. They don't bother with that. Lesson to be learned is the Two of Coins. Here we are on the rough high seas and a degrade in values and morals over there. Orders that they don't like. And it's going to change. It's going to change the values. It's going to change how people perceive the United States. There's going to be lawsuits from this, and some people are going to be forcibly retired for this. They may not face consequences in the short term, but you're going to face consequences, likely, I should say. Will the commanders, the way to answer this, will the commanders who've shot on these boats, these last 3 attacks, or the military aircraft that have launched Hellfire missiles on these boats, the pilots or the people giving them their orders, will they be held criminally or civilly liable for their actions? Will there be court-martials? Will there be dishonorable discharges? Will there be prison time? Will there be civil lawsuits? You can imagine the U.S. government is going to get sued for this. For Carter. 10 of Cups. Families. It's going to be the families of the victims here. Heartbreak and betrayal. They were murdered. Absolutely no evidence to support it. And the legal battles they're going to fight. Yeah. If you focus specifically on the folks in the United States who perform these actions, they're okay now as long as the Republicans are protecting them. They are perfectly okay. But here's the thing. The Republicans won't be in power forever. And then the investigations will start, and they will be all the liability is going to be found. The lying and the betrayal, and then the court cases come. Again, they'll be protected on the short term. And then when the families come after them, there's going to be a lot of evidence to show what happened and the chaos in there, and they're going to win their lawsuits. Donald Trump, he just absolutely destroys and ruins anything he touches. Moral of the story, is a lot of people are going to have to face their morals and ethics with Donald Trump. If it looks like it's a unlawful order, you either sacrifice your military career on the short term for long-term lack of incarceration, lack of civil liability, or you do what's good in the short term for your career and then face the long-term prospects. And I guess right now it looks like people are taking the short-term advice and claiming ignorance. What's the what's going to be the fallout for the United States with this murder? Basically, what I'm going to call murder on the high seas, because frankly, that's what it is. Until information comes out to show that this is different, and if you really think the boat with like 7 guys in it, with no drugs that could be seen, like, you know, opened fire on a U.S. boat or was running away and deserved to be hellfire missiled. If you think you can prove that one in court, good luck. I will love to see the evidence on that. What's going to be the fallout from all of this? Or the spiritual thing? We got the Hanged Man. We're going to find out. And it's going to... People are going to get thrown under the bus, and it's going to happen quick. King of Pentacles. They're going to want to blame the senior leadership on this. Senior leadership is going to be held accountable. They're underneath it. Or, you know, there's money underneath all of this. Again, King of Wands, the illegal orders being given and acted upon. Investigation is going to start. Here comes the big investigations. There's going to be indictments. And some stuff is not going to come out. Some stuff they're going to say is national security and won't be discussed. Others are going to have their careers go dark. But yeah, there's going to be some stuff here that we will never hear about because they're going to say there's national security reasons why we can't release that information. It may be a while before it comes out. But it will come out because even national security information will eventually be released. This is not a high water mark for being proud of being an American, but it's stuff that's happening under our watch, and if this country can't do the right moral and ethical thing up front, then we owe it to society and to the world to own our mistakes and bake retribution for our mistakes, and then put things in place so these mistakes never ever happen again. You can't unring the bell, but you can apologize for ringing it. You can try to repair the bell as best you can, and then you can make dang sure that you never ring that bell again. But the bell's been rung. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.